Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kristen and this is Growing Zone 9B. So I just got home from work as always and I came out to the garden. One thing I've already taken into the house, I'm going to show you guys here in a minute, but I just wanted to show you this is why it's rough being a grower sometimes. So I came home, I'm getting ready to make myself a salad and look. A little animal decided that it was gonna eat this tomato. This is the third tomato that I've taken from this plant that has been half chewed. So I'm fairly confident that this is a squirrel because the squirrels run the telephone lines and they come down and they eat our fruit and vegetables. So here's the next one. It's a bell pepper. And yep, it's got something has gotten into it or started to. So it was a beautiful bell pepper until it wasn't. And the other one is exactly the same. So there's one right down here. Look, holes all chewed in it. So this one I'm just gonna give back to Mother Earth. But very sad. That's why it's kind of rough. This one I think I'm just gonna try to take off the bad piece and just eat this half of it because that's what I'm gonna do today. But right, so we are brewing some tea. As always, I just came home. We were out of tea, so I had to make some tea. But the surprise is I went out to the garden and my beautiful pineapple was ready. Look at how gorgeous this pineapple is. I mean, you don't get any better than this. Look at that. Look at the width. I can't even wrap my hands around it. It's super heavy. I don't know, this thing feels like it weighs at least like 2.5 pounds or something, 3 pounds maybe. This is a solid pineapple. You can see in the top I still have like wood shavings because I have been taking the mulch and spreading it around on my plants to try to keep my plants healthy and doing well. So if you guys don't know about this, my friend across the street, Miss Marla, she actually got me this. I think she ordered it online. This is a pineapple cutter. It's very useful, very handy. It just kind of corkscrews into the pineapple. So we're gonna open this and cut it first with you all because this is my first pineapple. I'm gonna cut the top off. Wow, I can tell that's juicy. It smells good. Look at it. Ooh, that's beautiful. All right, so what I'm gonna do with this top is I'm actually gonna replant it, and all you have to do is just, oh my gosh, the juice is just running down my hand on my clothes. All you have to do is just take it and bend it and it'll start to break away. Bend it and it'll start to break away. And you want to go around the whole pineapple and do that. All right, perfect. Now I have the bottom. This is what it'll look like. I am literally gonna go out into the garden and I'm just gonna put it into the garden just like this. So I'm gonna put it in the ground and it's gonna start to grow and I'm gonna give it some water, of course, and take care of it. And it's gonna grow me another pineapple. This is super exciting, friends. All right, so what I think I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna put my little thing together here. It's just like a cylinder, looks like a kind of like a corkscrew, and here's the top. It just pops in, it locks in, and you just put it in the center of the pineapple like that, and you try to keep it away from the edge as much as possible, and you literally just start drilling down. So All right, perfect. There it is. It just pops out like that, and then you just pop the top off. And then I'm just gonna flip it over, and it all is a perfect spiral. I'm just gonna grab a paper plate for right this minute. Cut down it. We're gonna give it a try. Oh my gosh. Friends, that is so stinking delicious. Oh, I gotta get another piece. Oh my gosh. Man, that's good. It literally tastes almost like coconut and pineapple mixed together. I don't know what's giving it that super tropical vibe, but other than it is a tropical fruit, but I'm telling you, it's got this like hint of coconut to me, or maybe I'm just hallucinating and thinking of like a nice fruity drink. All right, friends, so what I'm gonna make now is, it's called Tepache. That's what I call it. I'll put the recipe in the description for you guys. I've taken, these are like large mason jars, so they're like half-gallon size. So I'm gonna go ahead, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna split this recipe because I'm gonna make a prebiotic drink. So I'm just gonna split the pineapple down the middle. Now, some people don't put the core in because the core has a tendency to be a little bit bitter, but it doesn't bother me. So, wow, so much juice. I'm gonna cut this bottom part out just a little bit because it's very woody in that section, so we're not gonna use that part. But you can see there's a pretty decent amount of like what I call meat still left in here. So I'm just gonna cut it into strips, and the good thing about this is I know exactly where this pineapple came from. I grew it, so it makes it wonderful because I don't have to worry about like pesticides and all that gunky stuff that you might get at the store. And I'm just cutting it into strips. I'm gonna drop it into my jar. You can cube it like that, because like, see, this still has some good pineapple. I could have technically eaten that pineapple. It's so delicious. This is why I need Pineapple Alley, because fresh pineapple is nothing. And I literally mean like, it's not even close to me as what you would get at the grocery store, because the stuff at the grocery store is like, it's picked early. It's got a real like tingly taste on my tongue, like it makes my tongue feel weird. And it's got a lot of like acidity, I think, because to me personally it got picked like way too early. So we're just gonna chop that up. And yes, I got my hair cut, so thanks to my sister-in-law. She cut my hair. I appreciate that. All right. So like I said, if you want to, you can put the stem in there. Now, I'm not going to use the very bottom of this, but I'll just go ahead and add the stem to that one. No big deal. All right, now sometimes people use like a special sugar. I am not going to be using like a special sugar. I will note it in the recipe. I'm just going to go ahead and use the organic Costco brand. It's cane sugar. You want to put about a half a cup because we're going to be fermenting this. Yeah, I'd say what's left in here is a half a cup, so gotta get some more sugar. If anything, it was over a half a cup, which is fine. you definitely would rather do more than do less. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to take our half-gallon size jars, now that we have a half a cup of sugar in each one of them, and we're going to fill this up with filtered water. I'm just going to go ahead and use the Zephyrhills water because that's what we have. And what I'm going to do is you're going to ferment this at like room temperature, so to speak, in a cool, dark place. You don't want it to be like hot. If you got a hot house, that's not going to work. But room temperature, and you're gonna ferment it for, like I said, for about 3 days. And then, so I'm just gonna fill it up, and then I'm just gonna drop, I have those glass weights. Let me get them, and I'll show you what our fermenting tops look like. All right, so here's my glass weight. You can get this. This is a mason jar top, and it fits right over the center. You can see that it completely just takes that over. And here's my fermenting top. So it looks like this. It's got like a little nipple for breathing. It's got a little air flow. It lets like gases and stuff escape. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill these up with water, and then I'll be right. All right, so I've decided, since the original recipe really calls for a cup of sugar in a half-gallon size jar, I'm gonna go ahead and add that extra half a cup to make it a whole cup of sugar going into these mason jars. Or technically it's a ball jar using a mason top. All right, and I'm gonna drop that weight in. I have a feeling, yeah, some of these pieces, that's why a lot of people keep them like lengthwise, because when you chunk it, a lot of times what happens is the pineapple will float to the top, and you really don't want that. So we're gonna put the lid on. Like I said, it's gonna sit at room temperature for approximately 3 days. All right, so after the 3 days, what you want to do is you want to transfer, like basically drain this out. You want to drain it to a different jar because you don't want the actual pieces left in it, the solids. And then, so you're going to strain it, and then you're going to transfer it to an airtight like bottle. And then you can let it sit, like personally, I just let it sit for like another day. And then I transfer it to the refrigerator to cool for about 24 hours. Now, like I said, everybody does this differently. That's my recipe. That's how I do it. I've seen some people let stuff like this sit up to like 2 weeks. I'm not brave like that, but if that's what you want to do, you do what's best for you. So do your own research. As always, I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm telling you what I do. And yes, you can use a pineapple that you get from the store, but remember, keep in mind that if you use that pineapple from the store, what's going to end up happening is you could have pesticides. So I recommend that, or something funky on it, you just don't know. So I recommend, if you're going to use a pineapple from the store, what you can do is just take a little bit of like white vinegar and some water, and just kind of let the pineapple sit in it for maybe like an hour or so or less, and just like, you really just want to like clean it off and make sure it's not got any gunk or funk on it. So all right, and there it is. So that is just another way to keep utilizing what you have in the garden, and you're gonna get another pineapple out of this. So yes, is it gonna take about, 2 years? Yes, it is. That's why you need to really have some dedicated space for this. Pineapple is just mind-blowing, the amount of time that it actually takes to get one of these to grow. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Something a little different, a good way to utilize everything that you have. And we're gonna get this beautiful fresh pineapple that we can eat. We've made a juice with it, and then we're gonna replant that top. So we have basically taken 3 pieces of utilization for our beautiful pineapple. All right, friends, so I'm gonna continue to enjoy my beautiful pineapple. So good, so healthy, so delicious. Nothing like homegrown and fresh. I am blessed that this did not get damaged in that storm that we had. So, so here's your bonus, not bonus. I've got some extra space right here over already where I'm growing pineapples. I had taken out a tomato from over here. So here's my fresh pineapple. Here's all the fresh mulch that we just kind of put down. I'm gonna get down there until I get to the dirt. And then literally, I'm just setting it in. I'm gonna pack this stuff kind of around it. And there you go. I'm gonna water it in. Every day. I'm gonna come out for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, because it is very hot out right now. I'm gonna water this in and let it get established, and then it can hang out with the rest of its friends and start growing us some beautiful pineapple. All right, friends, so as you can see, it is going to rain. Nothing unusual here for Florida this time of year, but we are gonna head inside. That Tepache, or my version of it, is actually ready. So let's go in and check it out. All right, friends, so this Tepache, or my version of it rather, has been sitting for quite some time. You can see stuff floated up to the top. That's usually why people leave these not chunked, and they usually just leave them you know, in long slices, because that glass weight will do better with that. But you can see it kind of has a nice little white foam on the top. It is fermented. So this one has actually been sitting for approximately 4 days or so. And like I said, it's got the breathing lid. I normally don't ever get the chance to show you guys what these final products look like, but this time I have. So it looks perfectly fine in the top of that. What you're gonna need obviously is a strainer like I have. You're gonna strain it. And get everything out of that jar. All right. So I'll take this out to the compost, but all right, so now that I've transferred it, you really want a lid that you can like lock in and snap. Something like this will work. But this is really probably the preferred type of lid that just kind of pops open and seals back down. Now, the thing I don't like about these bottles is that you have to have a special brush to kind of get in there and really clean it well. But that's what we're gonna go ahead and pour this in. So it's kind of like transferring to transfer to transfer. And I really need like a different process than what I'm doing right now. I need something like a funnel, so that way trying to pay attention. All right, there you go. So you kind of really need something that's got a funnel, so that way it doesn't leak all over your counters like this just did. So I definitely probably need to order some of those, but look how beautiful that is. It's kind of similar to like a kombucha, a little different, but you can go ahead now and refrigerate it. You can see, like I said, it's got some nice bubbles in it. It's definitely like airing up in there. So, like I said, just put it in the refrigerator and it will slow down the fermentation basically process of what's happening. I do like to leave a little bit of headspace because it is going into the refrigerator, and I don't want it to have so much pressure that it potentially explodes these glasses. But there you go. I'm gonna go ahead and refrigerate this. The reason why I put this in here, like I said, dual purposes, is one, by the time this cools down, I'm gonna go ahead and start drinking it, and then, you know, I'm gonna already be enjoying it, so I don't need to worry about that. But I've got a couple more of these bottles, and so that's what I'm gonna do with this one. Like I said, you can see the white in there. That is perfectly fine. You can see the bubbles. It has fermented. It's beautiful. This was super simple, super easy. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Please give this a try. I think that you will really love it, and it is a way that we can use all of our products and we don't have to, you know, waste anything. And that's the beautiful thing about growing your own food. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me and being a part of this channel. I am so grateful for you all. Until next time, friends, love one another, be kind, and I will see you guys real soon.